This is breaking news from ThailandTV.news. Now all the Thailand news is in one place. The latest reports from around the clock and around the world. Breaking Thailand news from all the world's top news sources, translated into 11 languages and updated 24 hours a day. Here's Ali with more.
ThailandTV.news has it all. The latest news, weather and sports updates, plus up-to-the-minute events listings and fun things to do in Thailand. And that's not all. There's also entertainment, lifestyle, and travel news, including the latest visa information. If it's happening in Thailand, you'll find it here at ThailandTV.news.
It's all here at ThailandTV.news. All the latest news, weather, sports, they even cover ice hockey. It's all done at ThailandTV.news. Yes, it's all the Thailand news, all in one place.
This is Thailand's biggest night for hockey. This is Hockey Night in Thailand.
Well, it just feels different. You can tell walking into the arena that this is not like every other game in a season that's now stretched almost 8 months since starting at the end of October and the beginning of November. 18 games in the regular season, 2 games in the postseason. This is game number 21, and it all comes down to this one for the 2 teams that will play for the Siam Hockey League Championship. A pleasant good evening on a championship Saturday night, and welcome inside our coverage of the final game in the SHL season. My name is Adam Gottschalk. Greg Beatty alongside, of course, as always, the man himself, Keith Mueller, behind me. Siam Mandalay, the upset special of all upset specials against KCG, the team that perhaps we all expected to be here. However, as many times as they've played each other in the regular season, and as one-sided as those matchups were, this is not the same KCG team, and it's not the same Siam Mandalay team. Both of these squads have absolutely earned the right to play for the championship. They both swept their first-round opponent 2-0. Let's tell you about this one. I am excited. You know, you get here, you see all the players show up wearing suits and ties, especially on the Siam Mandalay side. That was, I think, an organized team activity. It feels like a championship game. Greg, great to have you along. It's been a pleasure to do the games with you this season, and I know you're excited about this one too. Anything could happen today.
I am excited about it. This is a special game. Always a one-game final. Anything can happen. We've got 2 different goalies that haven't played for their teams for the past, well, maybe couple of months. So that's going to be interesting. Anything can happen with the goalies. As you said, the KCG has a bit of a different lineup. It's certainly their first line with their 2 top scorers out of the lineup. That's really going to be a set up a mystery for tonight. It's any team can win this one. It's exciting.
Let's start with that. So KCG today is playing without 10 of the 12 goals they've scored in the playoffs so far. 5 from Jan Isaacson, he's in Sweden. 5 from Nick Lampson, he's not playing today after the fight in the last game, right?
Yep.
Roman Laren, who's been their top offensive defenseman all season, is not here as well. So that's 3 potent scoring weapons capable of taking over a game that are not here. For KCG, I've got 2 keys written down, then I'll turn it over to you on Siam Mandalay.
Okay.
KCG this season, 13-3-2, a plus 47 goal differential. They were the 2 seed. However, I think from the eye test all season long, they were the league's best team. But if they're going to replicate that and take the championship trophy today, Brandon Vick, Mankorn Sukwebun, who's playing as a sub, Tanlin Pimpet, who has the only goals not scored in the postseason by Jan Isaacson, Nick Lampson. Those are the 3 guys. One of them, of course, Jesse Starasta. This is still a talented lineup, but they have to score goals. One of those 3 guys has to be the one to step up, in my opinion, to win the game.
I agree with that. You know what? The KCG, they have a lot of depth to their bench. So I think they've got the right to, I'll call them subs on the first line. All 3 of those guys are very capable. And I think we're going to have a strong performance on the defense as well. I mean, they just got so much depth. I think Siam Mandalay has the enthusiasm for tonight, and I think their keys to the game will be supporting Dream, who hasn't played for a while. He's a great goalie as well, but he'll want that support because he hasn't played for a while. Oh, it looks like we're going to have some sort of a.
It's going to be a ceremonial puck drop. They're going to have some pregame festivities. We will carry the postgame show in its entirety for you as well, with the man sitting to my right, Greg Beattie, down on the ice. We don't have the audio from this, so we'll try and narrate what's happening, but we'll continue to speak about the game as you watch this on the screen in front of you. Commissioner John Shaknovsky and Christian Olofsson, one of the guys who's helped make this league a possibility at center ice and addressing the 2 teams. As you look at this on your TV screen, or cell phone or laptop or wherever you're watching this, Siam Mandalay wearing the white trimmed in green and black. KCG is in the gray jerseys trimmed in black and white. Siam Mandalay 3-14-1. They were in last place in the regular season. How did they beat Lexicon 2-0 to get this far in the postseason? First game, you could say chalk it up to a fluke. That was not a fluke. They played 2 terrific hockey games. What did they do well?
You know, I mean, both teams played pretty good. I have to say it's just one of those playoff jinxes that can happen, just like in the NHL this season. The Bruins lost out their first series. The Leafs lost out their second series. Anything can happen in the playoffs. It's the playoff jinx.
Let's talk about the goalies. I was trying to understand what's happening, but it just
it's
sounds
too
like
muddled. It's too muddled.
It sounds like echoey nonsense. So the goalkeepers, you already touched on the fact that Dream Unko Patanasuk is playing for Siam Mandalay today. Dom Vollenweider playing for KCG.
Yep.
Let's talk about both of them. On paper, this is a mismatch. You know, KCG, we spoke about the guys that they're missing. Missing Roman Laren, missing Nick Lampson, missing Jan Isaacson.
Yep.
However, they have, statistically, if there was a Vezina Trophy awarded in the SHL, it would be Dom this season. Only 8 games played, but a 2.13 goals against average and a stellar save percentage of 91.8. He's been a brick wall when he's been between the pipes. It just hasn't been that often. I don't want to harp on him strictly because I feel like that devalues the performance of Gabor Toth, who was terrific in the first-round series and helped get them here. So you can't say that they're a different team with this goalkeeper. They have 2 strong goalies. But before we talk about Dream, what does Don bring to this?
Well, looks like we're getting some sort of.
They're probably.
They're announcing our big raise that we're getting.
Let's not speculate on what has been said.
All we want is that
we
first
hope it's
coffee.
positive. Now let's talk about Dom Vollenweider.
Here's all the goalies in the SHL are good, right? And you mentioned they have a good goaltending pair on KCG. The difference for Dom and the team is that they can play, the forwards can play up a little bit more. They don't have to do as much back checking because they think, or they believe, that Dom's going to make the big save. They don't worry as much, so they don't have to back check as much. So they just depend on him. The question is, can they depend on him tonight when he hasn't played in the SHL for such a long time? Yes, he's been on the ice up in Chiang Mai. He's been playing mountain hockey, but he hasn't been playing in the SHL. So let's just see how rusty he is, if at all.
Before this season, this is my first year here watching the SHL. It's my first full year in Thailand.
Can you survive?
One of the names that I heard before the season started is, hey, watch this guy Dream. He's a really good goalkeeper, right?
Yep.
Local product, grew up here, really good goalkeeper. He has not had a very good season. And I don't know whether that's because of the play in front of him or if he's just maybe not been at his strongest. He has to play his game of the year. Statistically, 5.46 goals against per game and a save percentage at 81.3.
Yep.
And he's also following Igor Sikora, who has played 2 dynamite games to start the postseason. Igor, unfortunately, had a business commitment outside of Bangkok. He really wanted to be here today. He could not be here. Dream gets the chance to live out his dream. I promise I didn't practice that before we started. I really didn't. You see all my notes. Tell me about Dream. What can he do when he's on, and how does his team help him today?
Okay, Dream can do it all. He is a good goalie. He's better than his stats show. That is for sure. And I think his stats reflect, let's say, some loose defense work. He hasn't had the strongest defense in front of him from time to time. I thought he played well all season, except he had one shaky game where I thought it was it's a bit uncharacteristic of him, and I think it was an 8-goal game. But the last couple of games that I saw him in, he played really well. So I have a lot of faith in him, and I think he's going to do well tonight as well. It's a matter of watching the defenseman in front of him as opposed to Dream, the goalie.
So that's it. You have Andrew Sia, you have Ralph Dittmer. Those are the only 2 players on the Siam Mandalay roster who are listed as exclusively defensemen. They've rotated guys. I mean, Adam Simpson, by now, we see mostly playing along the blue line. Andrew Ross is typically playing on the blue line. They've put Tom Stasny on the blue line at times this year. Yep. I don't think they can sacrifice his scoring, but with a goalie who is, as you said, hasn't been between the pipes in quite a while for Siam Mandalay, what do they do strategically? They have Coach Scott Murray as he's out of the lineup. He's battling a leg injury, and so he won't be playing today. However, this is a you can't say well-coached team. He's not really the coach, but, it's a well-captained team. Mike Friesen, who's, not just a guy who knows a lot about hockey, he's playing a fantastic season and a great postseason. What does he do with the blue line today to make sure he keeps traffic in front of the net, doesn't hang his goalkeeper out to dry, and gives Dream a chance to make the plays it'll take to win? Well,
I think the defense needs to back check. They need to block a lot of shots.
There is on your screen, by the way, that's Mike Friesen and Jesse Starosta, the 2 captains, coming out to center ice, and I believe we're going to have the ceremonial dropping of the puck, and I wish I could tell you exactly who this was, but I'm sure it's a great story, and I look forward to hearing about it after the game. But Mike Friesen in 10 in white, Jesse Starosta a matching 10, and here comes the puck drop, and officially, well, I think we're going to do a take 2 on this one. And in just a moment, officially, we will be underway, and with 17 minutes showing on the clock, it won't be long before we get started with Championship Saturday. And there you go, tapping the sticks on the ice, the guys on both teams, and this is going to be a really fun one.
Okay, so getting back to your question, Adam, the defense, they've got to play tight, but the forwards need to play loose. They're coming in as the underdogs, slight underdogs, so they can afford to play loose. They can have some fun tonight. Whereas KCG, they're expected to win this game because they've had the better record, so they've got the pressure on them. So it's going to be pressure versus playing loose, and let's just see which of the 2 styles are going to win tonight.
The first line for KCG is, and you touched on this right at the beginning of the pregame show, but statistically speaking, Brandon Vick has had a good season, 9 goals, 13 assists. But he was so hot to start the year. And I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I feel like he had something like 7 goals, 10 games into the year, something like that, right? He's cooled off a bit. He's the guy who, in my opinion, from what we've watched this year, has that quick strike ability to replace somebody like Jan Isaacson, somebody like a Nick Lampson. That's who I'm looking to as a potential game breaker for KCG. They need scoring coming from somewhere. Is that the guy who's going to deliver that today?
He could certainly do it. He's got the capability. He's got the finesse. He knows where to play. He knows where to be on the ice. He knows how to pass it. He's a team player as well as a scorer. And I think didn't he get 100 altogether, like 100-point season or 100 points in sorry, not 100-point season, 100 points total?
He has crossed that in his career. That's true. He did. He was one of the 3 or 4 guys who crossed that milestone this year. So it's that feeling you get when nobody knows what's going to happen, but all we know is that in 51 minutes of game time, or potentially 51 minutes plus overtime, one of these 2 teams will be crowned champion of the SHL. And what happens between now and then? Well, that's why we're here, and that's why we watch this.
Well, we've got 51 minutes before the big reveal. Who's going to win this game? Who's going to win this season?
Friesen and Vic will be in the face-off circle, and that is how this one begins. KCG in the first period in front of... Oh, there's a turnover. Stasny got it. Stasny coming in alone, but nice defensive play from Ian Thanakokriad, who was able to get a stick in and deflect that one. Andrew Sia had the puck bounce away, but Bonazzo cleans it up. So maybe it's... Everybody's just so amped up for playoff games, but in 3 of the 4 postseason games so far this year, there's been a goal within the first 5 minutes of game time. Friesen tees one up and misses the target wide to the right. We've seen a lot of fast starts. There's a goal! Stasny got one home! Make it 4 out of 5!
Wow.
He picked up a bouncing puck and got that one 5-hole on Vollenweider, and Siam Mandalay strikes first.
Just as you said, it's going to be a quick goal. Wow.
Give Tom Stasny his 4th goal of the postseason. And in 21 games this year, that's now goal number 20 for big number 92 in green and white. Starosta wins the faceoff for KCG. It's poked away and back to neutral ice. Phelps collects. We didn't speak in the pregame show about Alex Phelps, number 3, Christoph Onlicker, number 29, but those 2 guys on the blue line were nothing short of dominant in the last game against Aware.
Yeah,
and
they always play
Starosta
solid.
with a steal, but nobody there to collect, and it's just harmlessly trickling back behind Vollenweider. 1.5 minutes in, and we've already seen yet another early goal. Saku Rantanen racing in the middle to try and force a turnover. Instead, it's taken back by David Bohr. He'll feed Starosta. Stoddard's with him. Starosta in, flings one towards the net. Dream has trouble with it. It's still loose on the line. No one's covered, and now there's the whistle. That was dicey.
Yeah, it looked a little bit shaky there. And of course, back at the other end, when they score on the first shot, it's always unsettling for the goalies, right? So I wonder how Dom is going to be either shaken from that first shot where they scored the goal, or he'll recover mentally.
That puck came in on Dream so slowly, you wonder if it's like a changeup in baseball where you're sitting fastball and then you don't really know how to adjust. But thankfully, I believe that was Stasny behind him who was able to sweep it off the line under his goalkeeper to draw the whistle. Friesen, Stasny, and Bonazzo, the 3 on the ice. We've called that trio quite a bit the latter part of this year altogether. Stasny leaves one back to Sinagulya, who tees up, has it deflected, and now a breakaway opportunity for Tanlin Pinpet. The puck trickles to the corner, which gives the defense a chance to get back. Foiling the breakaway and taking the puck away is Mike Friesen. Just a bad break for KCG as that puck just ended up angling a little bit off to the left, or Tan was off to the races. Here's Bonazzo looking to center it. Instead, it's a steal, and Vic gets it on his stick. Stasny takes it away. We are 3 minutes and 15 seconds in. No goals on 2 shots for KCG, 1-on-1 for Siam Mandalay. This would be an offsides if Vic had touched it. So he'll just skate away and let Dan Sinagulya try a long outlet. Icing washed out as it caught a piece of the skate of Ed McConnell. Sorry, make that Friesen. McConnell was not on the ice at the time. There's a long shot. Dream again has trouble with it and just sweeps it off to Simpson. Some early game jitters from Dream in goal for Siam Mandalay. So far, it hasn't burned him, but he'll need to settle in, as I'm sure he'll face some tougher shots than the 3 he's seen so far in this game. There's McConnell. He'll play a two-man game with Sia. Stoddard has him defensively and forces the turnover. The two subs, if you have your lineups in front of you and you wonder who these extra guys are, no substitutions for Siam Mandalay. The only two are on the ice for KCG, and that's Yin, who's 16 in gray, and Mancorn, who is 12. That puck loose. Rantanen ends up taking it away. It never got on net. It hit the side of the cage. That's an icing as Alistair Fawcett, first time we've called his name in the postseason. Back in the lineup for KCG, and he's the closest man to that puck when it crosses the red line.
Well, Adam, you mentioned the one player on KCG who's got to step up tonight, and that's Brandon Vick. I will mention the player that I think needs to stand up for Siam Mandalay, and that would be Jeff Benazzo. I think he's very capable, and I think he's going to have a big game tonight.
But not so on the season. 7 goals, 12 assists. You have to think, as hot as Friesen and Stasny have been in the playoffs, but not so maybe the odd man out who gets left alone for a couple of opportunities. So I think that's a good call. That one's going to be another icing. Yes, there's the whistle.
The other thing is I look across the rink here, I see a lot of fans tonight, and they're all standing. Normally we don't see that many. We don't have that many spectators, but they've all come out to see the final game of the season.
Vick and McConnell will take the face-off, and it's not clean, but it's still a win for KCG. And puck in the corner right side, there's Tan Lim Pinpet. Lim Pinpet today on a line with Mancorn and Brandon Vick. That's definitely the line that KCG will look for as the scoring forward line in this hockey game. Vick has it. Sia does a nice job poke checking the puck away, and he'll control. He has not cleared the danger zone yet, but now he does. Phelps paired with Fawcett defensively in this game, at least here in the first period. That one stayed onside, but there's a turnover. Stasny has it, feeds Friesen right side. Quick developing 2-on-1. Friesen back to Stasny looking for a one-timer, but the saucer pass just a little high. Nice developing 2-on-1 thanks to the fast skating of Tom Stasny. He is having a terrific postseason. Tan Lim Pinpet, now he's got some space. Ross and Sinagulia converge on him, and he has to circle back out. One-timer from the blue line. Again, Dream has some trouble with it, but again, the puck stays out of the net. Now Friesen will race and collect the puck. No help with him, so he'll take an odd-angle shot. Caught the top of the crossbar, and on a rebound, he gets another opportunity that was shouldered aside by Dom. Siam Mandalay creating opportunities here in the game's opening period. Sinagulia on the blue line, floats one back behind the net where Friesen will collect. Onlicker marks him defensively. Forces a reset. Now the puck in the corner, back to Friesen. Open look! Fires and scores!
Wow. What a rocket.
Okay, I didn't say this in the pregame show, so I'm going to need you to be my proof.
Yes.
Read what this says under my keys to the game for Siam Mandalay.
3.
They need three goals combined between Stasny and Friesen.
And they've already got 2, right?
And they've already got 2.
And it's still the first period.
In my opinion, that was the only opportunity for Siam Mandalay. Just based on their season so far, would be a big game from those two. So far, the early returns are strong. Andrew Sia skates in. The face-off was won briefly by KCG, but a quick takeaway. No harm on that possession as Alex Phelps will control and skate the puck away from danger, but there's a turnover. Poirier has it. Mike Poirier into the middle, and McConnell whiffs on a one-timer. The pass came in just a bit behind him and a little slower than he expected. He was off balance when that one came. There's David Bohr colliding with Andrew Sia, and it leads to a turnover and a takeaway. Sia will bring the puck in with CJ Gamble. Sia's shot is gloved by Vollenweider, who looks a little frustrated. He's given up 2 early goals. The first one you could say was potentially on him. The second one, nothing anyone can do. You cannot leave Mike Friesen alone that close to the goal. He had time to pick his spot, and he did not miss.
Yeah, it was a rocket drive.
Face-off win for Stasny. Simpson lost the puck in his skates for a moment. Collects and floats one on net where Vollenweider gloves and holds. 9 minutes gone by. It feels like an hour. Seen a lot of hockey in the game's first 9 minutes. 9 combined shots, 2 goals, both for Siam Mandalay, but the league's best offense this season, KCG, tons of time. Stasny forces a turnover. Again, if you weren't with us in the pregame, if you're just finding this, that one loose in front. Ross got away with a misplayed puck, and it's finally back out to neutral. If you just stumbled onto this somewhere on the Keith Mueller television network, in the regular season, Siam Mandalay had 3 wins. KCG had 13. On paper, this is a mismatch, but in the playoffs, these two teams have played as equals or better.
Yeah, and even tonight so far, I'd have to say that Siam Mandalay is playing a lot better than KCG.
They're not playing like a team that views themselves as a scrappy underdog. They're playing like a team that has high expectations, but not so. What a pass! Friesen on the doorstep, but he was a little bit behind the red line. Couldn't quite get with that one on net, but the net was open. Now there's a nice outlet pass to Lim Pinpet. Simpson skates back and is able to interrupt. Tan has had 2 possible breakaways scuttled, but I think before this one's over, we're going to see his name on the score sheet.
Yep, that's a good guess, yep.
Sina Gulia, 91 in white, finds Saku Rantanen. No numbers, he'll just carry the puck in with Phelps defensively. Alex Phelps, as he's done all season, in the right position to make that play. Here's Neising, first one against KCG, so face-off will come down in the Siam Mandalay offensive zone.
Yeah, Phelps, he's a smart player. Solid on defense, capable of rushing up the ice, capable of scoring. He's got a good shot from the point. He's a good all-around player.
2-0 Siam Mandalay. We're 11 minutes in. Sia after the face-off win. Sina Gulia looking for the deflection. He got it from Gamble, but it was a little too much of a deflection, and it actually stopped the puck, and so it did not quite make its way to the target. But right idea and Gamble in the right place. Puck just came in a little high on him. Rantanen will collect and float it down the ice. Time of possession, we don't have official numbers, but it's felt pretty close to 50-50 here in the game's first 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's back and forth, a little bit loose.
Long outlet from Phelps is off the body of McConnell, who plays it in and will allow his teammates to get back in. McConnell skating, carries the puck around. It'll be Alistair Fawcett for KCG, the first man to collect. But there was nobody there waiting for his little pass, so now an opportunity on an entry from Sia looking for Rantanen, but intercepted and taken away. Now here's David Bohr, tripped up. There's a penalty. It'll be a KCG power play after the next change of possession. Vollenweider just sees the hand up now, and he'll skate to the bench. Extra attacker on Lim Pinpet. There's a shot on goal. Dream closes the pads and makes his best save of the hockey game. And now, with 4.5 minutes left in the first period, we'll have 2.5 minutes of a KCG man advantage.
Well, this is a very important 4.5 minutes left in this period for KCG. They don't want to go into the second period down 2-0. If they get a goal here on the power play, that's going to bring them right back into the game.
Stasny, after a face-off win for Siam Mandalay, was stripped of the puck, but it is cleared on the second attempt by Adam Simpson. For the championship game, Keith just informs me, and it's a great note. First, I'll tell you, Brendan Vick's shot, Dream, no trouble, saves and squeezes. 4 officials on the ice working this hockey game.
I didn't even notice that.
You know, look, they... We're just watching the puck. We don't really look away because we have to call the play. I've just looked from one end of the ice to the other. There's a lot of referees out there. 4 officials on the ice. So, on the power play, that's Mancorn with Tan Lim Pinpet, Onlicker, Yin, and Brandon Vick. Those are the 5 on the offensive attack for KCG. If you've never watched SHL hockey before, power plays are just like the rest of the game, barring any official timeouts, running clock, so it's an extra 30 seconds, 2.5 minutes, as opposed to the NHL standard 2. But the clock runs, so There's Yin's shot. Nice save. Dream starting to find his footing.
Okay, getting back to the zebras, right? So we've got two guys with the red arm sleeves. Those are the two referees. They can call penalties. And the other two guys don't have those red armbands. They are linesmen, and they can only call, offsides and icings, but not penalties. At least that's the way it should work.
Starosta in the face-off circle. Nice win for Siam Mandalay. Friesen got the win, got it to Xia, who quickly clears. We're under a minute left. 2 shots on the man advantage for KCG so far, but both are the type that Siam Mandalay would happily allow. 30, 40 footers. That one just a step offsides.
That's an important offside because now they're just, the clock is running down, right? It's not a wise play at all.
And it's a neutral zone face-off, so by the time this draw is taken, it'll be time for perhaps one last offensive attack in the power play, and that's it. Onlicker has the puck deflected away. This, to me, maybe even more than 5-on-5 is where you really miss Jan Isaacson and Nick Lampson because, all season long you've played your power play one way, and those two guys have been the triggers. And now you got to reinvent it in the championship game.
Yep.
Paul Stoddart with the puck. It's deflected and stolen. Now Stasny, nice pass to Friesen. Friesen 1-on-3 poke checked away and taken back momentarily. Now Poirier has it. He'll have to wait for Friesen to skate back on side. Leaves it for McConnell, and it's loose in the middle where Yin turns it over. Poirier just waves the stick at it. Connects, but didn't end up on net. Down to 1 minute and 20 seconds left in a opening first period that has, I think, surprised both of us in a lot of ways. Maybe not the score, but certainly how we've gotten here. Rantanen back to Poirier. He'll tee one up. Fire and score! Deflected in. I think that goal is going to go to Ed McConnell. It got a piece of his jersey. It may have gotten a piece of his stick. But it's 3-0 Siam Mandalay.
And always those goals in the last minute really hurt you mentally.
All of a sudden, KCG, who has not scored and is missing their top 2 scoring forwards, their top scoring defensemen, they have to come up with 4 goals to win this hockey game, and they're going to have to do it in the final 34 minutes. Can they do it? Absolutely. But who's going to be the one to start that avalanche? 15 seconds left. They'd love to get one back here before the period's over. There's their best opportunity in several minutes as a shot from Mancorn was point blank, but bothered and deflected wide. And as the puck crosses the red line, it's deflected, no icing, and the period comes to an end. 3-0. Siam Mandalay. It's a local break to our stations. Local break, get ready to fire. We will come back with a second period after this. It's Thailand's biggest championship night for hockey, Hockey Night in Thailand.
This is breaking news from ThailandTV.news. Now all the Thailand news is in one place. The latest reports from around the clock and around the world. Breaking Thailand news from all the world's top news sources, translated into 11 languages and updated 24 hours a day. Here's Ali with more.
ThailandTV.news has it all. The latest news, weather and sports updates, plus up-to-the-minute events listings and fun things to do in Thailand. And that's not all. There's also entertainment, lifestyle, and travel news, including the latest visa information. If it's happening in Thailand, you'll find it here at ThailandTV.news.
It's all here at ThailandTV.news. All the latest news, weather, sports, they even cover ice hockey. It's all done at ThailandTV.news. Yes, it's all the Thailand news, all in one place.
And we're back for the beginning of the second period. Greg, catch me up. What happened?
Well, okay, so I didn't know how this game was going to go, and as I said before, it could go, any team can win. But I certainly was not expecting Siam Mandalay to be up 3-0 at the end of the first period. I did not predict that.
I just sent a message in our group chat to the league officials who are sitting downstairs to ask who got credit on the last goal.
Yeah, was it Ed or not?
Yeah, I didn't hear the announcement, and that's my fault for not taking my headset off, but we'll see what the message comes back. 1 goal for Friesen, 1 goal for Stasny. We know that for sure. There's a pass onside to Jeff Bonazzo. He's got a little space. Stasny with him. That one loose in front and covered by Vollenweider. Nearly a broken play. Tom Stasny, how does a guy who's, 6'2", hide on the ice as well as he does? He seems to just sneak up out of nowhere and create these opportunities.
Yeah, he's got
hockey IQ.
Yeah, that's it. He's got great hockey smarts.
That time, Friesen has the stick removed from his possession. It just went tumbling. And he puts his hands up to say, I don't know what happened, but did somebody just interfere with me? But either way, long clearing attempt ends up in the glove of the goalkeeper. Okay, so, not deflected by McConnell officially.
Oh.
The goal for Poirier.
Poirier, okay.
Whether it may have been off McConnell's jersey, but it was an incident. Yeah, either way. Poirier gets credit for the goal. In the regular season for Mike Poirier, only 2. Now he gets one in the biggest game of the year. Here is Ichiro Hara. Nice to see him back in the lineup for KCG. He's missed a few games. Good player, and 28 in gray. Here's Bonazzo now. Stasny again leading the charge, and he'll drag the skate to stay onside. Pass into the middle for Stasny. It's loose in front, and again, Vollenweider has to sprawl to keep it out. He gets up, and you can see he's starting to get frustrated. So many plays where he's facing guys with stick on puck 3-4 feet away from him.
Yeah, right in front of him. Yep. And those guys can score goals. Score goals.
Poirier, a quick snapshot off the faceoff. Vollenweider saw it all the way and makes the save. That was that Brandon Vick play we saw earlier in the season. Now here's Hara, potential breakaway. He's 1-on-2. Gamble gets back quickly. Hara, nice move to get free. He'll circle around, feed Phelps, who holds it in. Everyone has gotten back into position, so no odd man opportunity, and Dream kept that one away. Still in the offensive zone, Starosta just backhands one looking for Hara, but it's instead Andrew Ross, who feeds CJ Gamble, goal scorer in the postseason already. He'll just hit one in off the end board. So 3-0 Siam Mandalay, the 4 seed in the postseason, has a lead here in the championship game. Shots just about even. 10 for KCG, 9 for Siam Mandalay, but Dream, statistically, not a great regular season. We talked about all of his strengths, and just as I say how well he's playing, there is the first KCG goal. It came on a double deflection, and I believe the last man to get a stick on it was Paul Stoddart. We'll see what the announcer says, because 3 KCG players had a part of that one, but it's 3-1, and that was desperately needed for KCG.
Yeah, it puts them right back in the game. And of course, Dream had no chance on that one. It was a deflection right in front of him. Didn't have time to react. Good
Saw
goal.
that puck change directions twice. So the final man to get a stick on it, according to Dom, the announcer, is Mancorn, number 12, the last man to touch the puck. So it's Mancorn's goal, the sub for KCG, and give him the first marker for the team in gray. There's a quick shot snapped on net from Friesen. Vollenweider kicked the leg out just in the nick of time.
Okay, both goalies have seemed to have settled in. Let's see what happens from here on in.
It was a 3-goal opening period for Siam Mandalay. KCG is going to try and make this a crooked number here in the second as well. Friesen, again, just right off the draw, teed one up, but Fawcett was in position and blocks that one aside. Sorry, make that Onlicker, 29, who was there. Stasny couldn't quite get a clean handle on that one as Onlicker skates back and gets in the right position on defense. A 3-1 score. Stasny trying to force a turnover. He's battling for the puck right in front of Vollenweider. He is able to win possession momentarily, but it's right back out to neutral ice. Tom Stasny just bothering anyone who dares possess the puck on his end of the ice. One touch pass, but not so. But not so. Fires and save made. Vollenweider. We've seen another gear from Tom Stasny this postseason, haven't we?
Yeah, especially in the playoffs. The last couple of games, he's really shown his leadership and popping some nice ones in, making some nice plays, not just scoring goals, but also making great passes to set up other guys, get the assist, get the big apple.
Simpson's shot pass goes wide enough that it ends up all the way back out to neutral. There's a quick turnover. McConnell looking to get it to Saku Rantanen, but it's a little too strong for him and ends up a KCG puck. Hara will dig for it. CJ Gamble skates over. Nearly turned over. However, KCG a chance to reset. Starosta's line is on the ice, so he's with David Bohr and Ichiro Hara, the three forwards in that alignment for KCG. Bohr behind the net. Looked for a centering pass, but it goes unanswered. 11 shots for each side now. We are even in that category. KCG trying to grab the momentum and take control here in the second after a first period where it did not go their way. Starosta forces a turnover. Nice individual effort. Puts one in on the stick of Hara, who is knocked off his feet from Andrew Ross, and the puck back out, not quite far enough for icing. Everyone, it is an unsettled situation on the ice. Everyone was yelling, please look up to number 10. Starosta was wide open. He was the only guy who didn't change, and he was just standing there cherry picking at the blue line. They couldn't get the puck to him, and so we come back to a regular alignment, 5 aside. Everyone has now changed. Lim Pinpet will skate in. Top line out there for KCG. That one loose in front. Dream squeezes it and gets the whistle. Under 10 minutes left here in the second period. Quickly, as I get the note passed to me, I do want to remind you to follow all of our programming even when it's not hockey season. OTR is a program that we do on Thailand food, culture, and history. You can find us on ThailandTV.tv and Airy.tv, channel 99. Wayne Gretzky's number. Thank you for helpfully writing number so I don't say hashtag Gretzky again. If you haven't watched it yet, check out our piece on Tom Stasny and the Siam Hockey League. It was one of the more fun ones we've done, and I hope you get a chance to watch it. A little unsettled line change. Poirier will come over to chase down the puck. The door was open to the players' area, and the puck nearly found it. Instead, here's Yeen onside. That one deflected. I think Ralph Dittmer might have bothered that shot as he's sacrificing the body here in the championship game and makes a really nice play there. Turns it into an easy save for Dream.
Yeah, and I'll use that as a segue for Siam Mandalay's defense. They're playing great tonight. They're blocking those shots. They're breaking up passes. They're doing exactly what they need to do on the big D.
Andrew Sia, one of those guys who has played a good hockey game so far, is the one who ended up with that possession in Hill Spring Poirier. Poirier, McConnell, and Rantanen, those are the three forwards on the ice with Simpson and Sia, the defensive pairing. That's Rantanen into the middle looking for a centering pass. Sia has it on his stick and nearly snuck that one home. Covered by Vollenweider as Rantanen goes sprawling.
You know, Adam, speaking of the OTR show, I wouldn't say it's just that one that people should watch, the donut one. I mean, they're all great episodes, and they're all educational and fun to watch. So I'd recommend watching the whole set of them. Which, how many sets have you done? How many episodes?
Oh, man, I think we've done like 36, 37 full-length videos.
Yeah, I watched the Sriracha the other night. It was very
Simpson
interesting.
shot handcuffs the goalie. It's loose in front and in!
Wow. Well, that's a big one for Siam Mandalay.
This is a big day for Dom down below us, Dom Dumas, as he's having to sort out some unsettled goals. There's been a lot of deflections, a lot of dirty play, and dirty in a, not in a illegal sense, dirty in a, you know.
Trying to watch what happened there, but the deflections and the pop-ups, that one popped over somebody's shoulder.
So that was Mike Poirier.
That's the second goal then.
That is a 2-goal championship game for Poirier officially, which matches the 2 goals he had in the entire 18-game regular season. What do they say? You know, anybody can be a hero in a 1-game playoff, no?
Yeah, that's what's great about the playoffs, especially when there's a 1-game final. It's unpredictable.
Ed McConnell skates in, has it stripped by Bohr, and then Stoddart takes it away. It's one of those fun things about championships in sports is that you always know that this is when legends are written. I remember when the Capitals, I'm a Caps fan, right, growing up in Virginia. I remember when the Capitals had a 3-1 lead on the Vegas Golden Knights in the Stanley Cup Finals, and it felt like that might be the day that the franchise would win its first Stanley Cup. And that was obviously a really emotional day for me, but I remember the feeling before the game, just as a fan watching it, thinking, I wonder, whoever is the hero, whoever scores the game winner in the game, if Washington wins, is someone who will be there. They'll build the statue for him, right?
Yeah.
And then it ends up being Lars Eller on that nifty play where he found the puck sitting on the goal line and swept it home, and the Caps won the cup. But you never forget that. It's something that stays with you forever. And I understand this isn't the NHL, but it's still something that everyone who's a hero in a game like this will never forget.
Yeah, and the other guys won't let you forget it because they'll always remember it as well, and it will always be celebrated for years to come.
Mike Friesen skates in for Siam Mandalay. It's a 3-goal lead restored for the underdogs. That one loose in front. Chopped home! Oh, my goodness! Tom Stasny picks up the bouncing puck, beats Vollenweider top shelf. It's 5-1, and you see KCG starting to look like, what just happened? I'm stunned.
Yeah,
I'm stunned.
Yeah, I mean, there's 21 minutes to come back. That's a short fuse. But if anybody could do it, it would be KCG. But they are missing their 2 top scorers.
But if there's one surprise, it's the fact that this is against Dom Vollenweider, a guy who statistically was the best goalie in the league this year. A 2.1 goals against average and almost 92% on saves. Now, I don't think any of the goals you can fault him for.
Right.
There's been a lot of turnovers. Everything's been point blank. However, 5 goals on 16 shots. That's the one thing that I don't think any of us had on our bingo card before this game started.
Yeah, normally that shot count would be for 2 goals, not 5.
I want you to, whenever the play settles down here, is Poirier, who's all of a sudden looking for a hat trick. Had the puck on his stick taken away by KCG momentarily. Now Brandon Vick has it. Limpinpet alongside. Vick going to try and do it himself. Skates in. He'll circle the puck around behind the net. Tried to chop one off maybe the back of Dream, and it almost worked. Everyone just a little unsettled. Pass is not as crisp as we're used to seeing from the team that was the league's best for much of this season. Puck loose on the blue line and taken away. But what I want you to do, Greg, when the playoffs started, whatever that was, 10, 11 days ago, Ralph Dittmer, nice play defensively to clear the zone cleanly and confidently and get it to Bonazzo. You sat down before the first playoff game when the matchup of Siam Mandalay and the Lexicon Lumberjacks felt like a potential walkover. That was one that we didn't really think would be a series, not in the way that it turned out to be, just based on regular season statistics. You sat down next to me in the pregame show and you said, I was in the locker room for Siam Mandalay before the game.
Yep.
The guys had a different look. They were frustrated with how this year went. They do not want this to be their legacy. Take me back to that locker room before the playoffs.
Well, it was really their 2 leaders, Stasny and Friesen, who just had that look on their face, and those guys really know how to I'll say scare their team into having a good game because they take it so seriously. I mean, those guys exercise and stretch before the game starts. They're up, 1 hour before the game starts. They're here at the rink. They're exercising, limbering up. That's how seriously these guys take it. They want to win, and they instill that motivation into their team.
Any stories that you'd have from things that were said or specific players that you saw maybe with a look in their eye that they were
You know what? Sometimes it is just the look in the eye. It's the stare. It's the body posture. You don't have to use words sometimes. It's the motivation by the extreme intensity on their face.
It's just interesting that this is how the playoffs have so far unfolded after you began our postseason coverage by specifically singling out that team and saying how they felt like this was something that was really important to them.
Yeah, they're competitors, longtime competitors. A lot of these guys, this is supposed to be a fun league. You're supposed to have a good time, right? But I'm telling you, these guys do take it seriously. And the season was long, so it's hard to hold your motivation all through the season, but the playoffs is a whole different story.
Shockingly, we are inside a minute left in the second period. I can't believe it already. Reminder to our network affiliates, this is going to be a local break coming up. So wherever you are, if you're helping us out in the studio, we always appreciate all your hard work. Get ready to fire the break in half a minute. There was a lot of ways I thought this game might unfold. I am really surprised about this. Not over yet for sure. But somebody has to step up and, what do they say? Big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. Alex Phelps gets one to Stoddard, who gloves it down, trying to poke one past Dream. I want to talk about Dream when we come back after the break.
Okay.
Because, man, he has stood up to the task after a shaky first few minutes. It'll be the third period of the last SHL game of the season. Back with that next. This is hockey's biggest night in Thailand. And this is SHL's championship game.
Let's go. I really got the feeling today that everything is going my way. Now this is what I'm talking about. Every time I see your smile, it makes me shout. Let's go! Let's go! Ooh. Nothing's gonna stop us today. Get on the bus or get out the way. We're cruising with the radio on. So turn it up to 10. Here comes our favorite song. Let's go! Let's go! Ooh. Let's go! Let's go!
Well, Siam Mandalay is 17 minutes away from etching their name in the record books for all time here in the SHL. KCG potentially 17 minutes away from mounting a comeback for the ages. A lot of things can happen here as we begin the third period of play. Real quick before we get into the hockey, we were talking in the break about having 4 officials on the ice. I want to acknowledge the fact that when I see extra officials in any sport, the first thing I think is this game might end up being over-officiated. It's not been. The guys have done a great job so far. They haven't missed a single call as we see it from up here.
They have, and it's been a clean game. They haven't had much to call, but they haven't been looking for things to call, which is what I think you're saying.
Fires and Dream kicks that one away. Sorry, you may continue.
Yeah, I mean, the best referees are the silent referees, the ones you don't notice, right? And I have to say that we didn't notice there were 4 guys out there tonight.
We
go ahead.
Talk so much about hockey, and we don't really bring up the officials unless there's a missed call. But let's use that as an opportunity in our last telecast of the year.
Yep.
Say what a not just a great job these guys do, but how important their work is for the continuation of hockey here in Thailand, and acknowledge the job they've done tonight. These guys are great, and we do appreciate and respect what they bring to this league.
Yeah, and not just tonight, all season. I mean, there's a lot of games this season. The referees can have a bad game too. Sometimes they're not going to make the right call that you want them to. But overall, I think they're great referees, and tonight is exemplary of that.
I've pointed out a couple calls I disagreed with here in the postseason, but I will say, without question, it's a far better officiated league than the NHL.
Yeah, you remember that one time in the NHL where they had the referee strike, and they had like high school referees come out
And it
ref
was
the NHL
fine.
games.
It was fine.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't. You're right. No. I really wanted it to be fine, but no, it wasn't.
It was fun to watch, though. Just like, how are they going to call the game? That was fun to watch.
All right, so we've got 15 minutes left in a game that has been one-sided, and that one side is a team that, with a win, will match in 3 postseason games their 18-game win total from the regular season. How crazy is that?
It is crazy.
Teams switch sides again as we begin the third period. It's as it was when this one started. Siam Mandalay moving from right to left. KCG from left to right. That one chopped at in front by Stoddart. Waved at again by Bohr, and I don't really know from our angle up here how that stayed out. It was sitting right on the goal line, but Dream has been absolutely rock solid since the game's first period. Only a double deflection got past him. Got an arm raised in the air. It's going to be a penalty call, and we'll see who this goes against.
I think it's Dave Bohr. It's always a good guess.
I think that's I can't see where the official's standing, what he signaled. It might be a boarding call.
Well, maybe it's not Dave. Maybe the penalty was on. The infraction was on Dave.
Holding.
Is it Andy?
And it's Andrew Sia who's going to skate off. So second man advantage for KCG, and this one is pretty critical. You know, trailing by 4 goals with I see the photographer up here. I'm trying to pose while I shouldn't do that, right? We need to disregard the pictures being taken. That one snapped on quickly in a save by Dream. Okay, I want to go back to the point we were making before the power play.
Yep.
In the pregame show, we spoke at length about Dream.
Yes.
And the struggles he's had this season, and also the struggles of the defense in front of him. He has been outstanding in this hockey game. What is it that he's done so effectively, and what makes him so strong? Or is it also a credit to the defensemen and the way they played for Siam Mandalay?
Okay, so it's certainly a credit to the defensemen tonight. They've blocked a lot of shots. They're playing tight. Dream is playing well. He got off to a shaky start, but no goals against him when he was a bit shaky. You know what? He's a better goalie than the stats reflect. That's what I have to say. The question is, when did he find out that he was going to play tonight? Did he get the notice this morning, this afternoon? Did he get it a few days ago? Because Igor was supposed to play tonight, right? And then I just got the message tonight that he's not playing and Dream is.
My understanding, and I don't know any more than what I'm about to say, but that Igor has, for a long time, I think, had a business event scheduled out of town. I believe he tried to move it, but there was always a possibility that he wouldn't be able to be here. If Siam Mandalay, whether or not Siam Mandalay wins this game, all the talk is going to be about the champ. Down to 5 minutes left. Siam Mandalay has been outshot now by 10, but they're up by 3 goals where it matters. Thomas Stasny. That was a misspeak. Dropped one back to Bonazzo, who you feel like you're watching Paul Stasny. Sometimes when he's turned on the jets like that, just a terrific skater, and we saw some of the fastest Tom Stasny performances this season in this hockey game. He always seems to be the first man down the ice, and he was there as well, putting himself in position for a deflection. So, all right, taking away the 3-14 season, putting aside everything about this hockey game, let's treat Siam Mandalay as they deserve to be, which is a team that so far has been the best in the postseason. Who do you credit? Who are the guys who have stepped up? What have you seen from this Siam Mandalay team as they're now 4 minutes away from celebrating a championship?
Okay, again, you got to look to the two leaders, Friesen and Stasny, but beyond them, I think the goaltending's been great. Igor's been fantastic the last several games. Dream's playing well tonight. They've had good D on the blue lines tonight.
Probably the best of their entire season for them.
Yeah, those guys are the silent heroes, right? Because they're not going to score goals, but they break up the plays. They come back, check the 3-on-2s, the 2-on-1s. They played really well tonight. It's been a solid team effort.
You do wish that, we'd seen KCG with its full complement of talented players. Obviously, the guys they're missing makes a significant impact. statistically speaking, again.
It does, but the KCG has a lot of depth on their team as well, right? And they just needed a few guys to step up tonight, and that didn't quite happen, at least so far. They've got 3 minutes left, but it just didn't quite happen. They didn't play bad, but they just didn't get it together tonight.
Can you recall seeing a team with a record as paltry as the regular season mark of Siam Mandalay, 3-14-1, end up winning a championship? Can you recall, at least here in Thailand, in your 30-plus years of being here?
Definitely not. No.
So we had that the team when Aware won. That was unusual.
I've heard that at least they had a sub 500 record.
Yeah,
but
that
again,
was a surprise.
I'm the new guy here. Andrew Siet, nice play getting an inside position on David Bohr as we tick down to 2.5 minutes left, and Vollenweider turns around and looks at the clock. You have to imagine at some point he'll make his way to the bench. Bohr comes in, skates into traffic. We've been saying that all day. Siam Mandalay just playing a collapsing defense. I want to acknowledge a couple guys who don't get a lot of credit, the unsung heroes of this soon-to-be championship-winning Siam Mandalay team. Ralph Dittmer, 44, CJ Gamble, 33, guys who, as a broadcaster, you see some guys every week who are just always in a terrific mood, a pleasure to talk to, adore hockey. Everyone on the ice loves hockey. We know that much. But just those guys, I want to acknowledge them individually because both of them have been so much fun to get to know on the Siam Mandalay side. They don't have their names called on the ice very often, but both of them have played like champions in this hockey game. They've both stepped up. CJ had a big goal in the last game, and
those guys always have a smile on their face, a hand, ready to do the handshake. Real gentlemanly players. They're fun to have on your team, and they're fun to play against because they're good guys.
It's a lot of good guys in this league. You're going to miss this season. I look forward to next one. I hope I'm able to be here. It's nothing certain. Again, there's a lot of things happen between now and then. I can't say it's a certainty. There's certainly a chance that this will be my farewell as well. But if it is, it has been.
Mike Poirier was expecting to pot a couple of goals.
2 goals in the regular season.
Yeah. I remember one time Poirier scored a beauty on me during Shinny one night, and I thought, wow, this guy's great. But then throughout the regular season, I didn't see that shine. But I guess he was saving that for the end. One of them, I believe, was a scramble in front of the net, and the other one was a nice tip.
So are we...
As you can see, most people have left the ice, so we're kind of done with that. So,
Pang,
why don't you...
It was a nice try, but let's move on from the on-ice thing. So let's wrap
Pang,
this up
can
then.
you...
Sure.
So let's wrap this up then. So, Lance?
Adam.
As we prepare to sign off here in the post-game show, you hear that breathless Keith Mueller having just run up a flight of stairs as I turn his microphone off. Lance, let's do a couple of takeaways from this hockey game, and then a couple of takeaways for the season as a whole. We'll give our thank yous and our acknowledgments, and we'll sign off shortly. But, you've been a guy who's been a part of hockey for so long here. Mm-hmm. It's always so much fun to see every year hockey growing here in Thailand. This is a terrific season for the SHL. A season here in this beautiful arena, right? What a great year this has been. And for me, my first full year in Thailand, so much fun to see and fun to be a part of. And you were a big part of that as well.
Yeah, having you on the team certainly elevated the broadcast, no doubt. With the background that you bring, the experience that you've shared with us, what a blessing it is to have you voice these games. So, great season all around for, I think, all parts.
So, from the game today, just give me what your big takeaway is going to be. When you look back in 6 months and somebody says, hey, what happened in the SHL championship game? How do you summarize this briefly? What was your big takeaway from how this game unfolded?
Well, from a goalie's perspective, I